Long ago, in a time when the earth was filled with arrogance and ignorance, there lived a man of great faith and resilience. Prophet Noah, chosen by the Almighty, walked among his people, observing their devotion to idols made of stone and wood. The people were prosperous, yet blind to the one who granted them life. They worshipped lifeless objects, thinking them capable of granting favors, while forgetting the creator of the heavens and earth. Noah, guided by a divine purpose, began his mission. Day after day, he moved through the villages, visiting homes, standing in marketplaces, and addressing gatherings. His voice was steady and kind, filled with hope for his people. He yearned to bring them back to the worship of Allah, the one true God. But the people scoffed at him. They laughed and whispered among themselves, pointing fingers as he passed. Noah's persistence was unwavering. He worked tirelessly for years, then decades, then centuries. Yet only a small group of believers stood by him, those who recognized the truth in his words. The rest of his people turned away, mocking and taunting him relentlessly. One day, as Noah sat in quiet prayer, his heart heavy with the rejection of his people, he felt the presence of divine guidance. He rose and set out, ready to fulfill a new command from Allah. His footsteps took him to a place far from the bustle of the villages, where he began gathering wood. The sound of saws and hammers soon filled the air as Noah and his followers began constructing something extraordinary, a massive ark. As the structure took shape, it became the talk of the village. People came from near and far, watching with amusement. The ark stood tall on dry land, far from any water source. They jeered and shouted, some even throwing stones, mocking Noah for his perceived foolishness. Yet, Noah did not falter. Each nail he drove into the wood was a testament to his faith, each plank a symbol of his trust in Allah's promise. When the ark was complete, it stood like a fortress against the sky. Then the signs of change began. Animals appeared, coming in pairs, as if guided by an unseen force. Birds fluttered down from the sky, and beasts marched from the forests. They entered the ark, finding their places without hesitation. The believers, too, gathered. Their faces were a mixture of fear and hope as they climbed aboard. The sky grew heavy, clouds darkening until they seemed to swallow the sun. Noah looked out over the land, his heart aching for those who still stood defiant. He saw his son, Canaan, standing on the edge of the crowd, his arms crossed in defiance. Noah's heart ached, but he knew the decision was no longer his to make. Then it began. A drop of rain, then another. Soon the heavens opened, unleashing torrents of water. Streams turned to rivers, rivers into raging floods. The earth itself seemed to crack open, spewing water from its depths. Villages were swallowed, homes washed away in the roaring currents. The ark began to rise, carried by the waters. Noah stood on the deck, watching as the world disappeared beneath the waves. His son, Canaan, struggled against the rising water, climbing a hill in desperation. But the waves were relentless, surging higher and higher. Noah's heart broke as he turned away, knowing he could do nothing to save him. The ark rocked and groaned, yet it held firm against the storm. Days turned into nights, and the ark drifted on an endless ocean. The rain ceased, and the clouds began to part. Slowly the waters receded, revealing peaks and valleys. At last the ark came to rest on the slopes of Mount Judy. The silence was deafening after the roar of the storm, a stillness that spoke of both loss and renewal. Noah and his followers stepped onto dry land, their feet sinking into the soft earth. The air smelled fresh, cleansed by the flood. They bowed their heads in gratitude, knowing they had been given a second chance. Noah stood before his people, his voice steady and filled with resolve. He reminded them of the mercy and power of Allah, urging them to build a world founded on faith and righteousness. Prophet Noah's journey is not just a tale of survival, but a testament to perseverance and faith. It shows that even in the face of overwhelming rejection, the truth remains unshaken. It reminds us that obedience to divine guidance, no matter how daunting, leads to salvation. Above all, it teaches us that arrogance and defiance of truth will only lead to ruin, while humility and faith will pave the way for a new beginning.